Coming up, we're going to do our review of the movie A Wrinkle in Time.
Why has it got to be a wrinkle? Why can't it be like a tear or a split or something?
I don't know. They just wrinkled the time.
Welcome back to Eye Disney Through Our Eyes. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Jessica.
And tonight we're going to be taking a look at the film A Wrinkle in Time, based on the book A Wrinkle in Time by
Madeleine L'Engle.
Madeleine L'Engle. So if you can't tell already, I have no clue about what I'm about to discuss, except that I just saw the movie.
So this is kind of like how I feel every time we do a movie review.
It really is. This is a perfect example of why we call the channel Eye Disney Through Our Eyes, because it's two different sets of eyes, usually more, not knowing as much on her end. Let's be honest. When we talk about Spider-Man, the Avengers, you're like,
calling me dumb?
What? No, I'm just saying you're not as knowledgeable. Here, I have no clue, and I'll be honest, after seeing the movie, I'm even more confused now.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and say there's going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie,
starting now, do not watch if you have not seen the movie.
So
you got to start this thing because I'm lost.
No, you start. Tell me what you want to talk about.
Okay. I think my biggest question with this is I understood it was going to be based on a book, so I didn't want to read it. Obviously, I didn't want to read anything about it.
You don't read, so you don't want to read it.
Anyway, I do read.
So I read the book.
Back here,
Well, I actually listened to the audiobook right before the movie came out, so that I could kind of remember. I read the book as a child. My mom loves the book, so she made me read it. I didn't like it as a child, and I thought, well, let me give it another shot. It's just not my thing. And I enjoyed it this time. I really did. Like, it was decent. I just don't like sci-fi that much. That's why it's such a shock that I like Star Wars. But,
so did they go too sci-fi with this film, did you think?
Yeah, for sure. And even the book was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So let's start. Okay.
The book was whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Let's start. Okay, so the main character is Meg.
Right. And
in the book, her brother is Charles Wallace, not her adopted brother. So that was the first, wait a minute, he's not adopted. This isn't the case.
So why do you think they changed it to adopted brother?
I have no idea, and maybe it's just to interact with other children that are adopted.
I think I got the picture that they were trying to create the most diverse family possible.
Could be.
So I think that's what they were trying to hit.
Here's why I have a problem with it.
Okay.
Not that he's adopted, because I think adoption's wonderful. I have a problem with it, except that in the book, Charles Wallace has all of these special powers, and he has all of this intelligence because his mother and father have that. If he's not from his mother and father and he's adopted, he shouldn't have all of these intuitions.
Okay, now I'm getting some. This is kind of like what people had problems with the original. I'm bringing Star Wars into this.
Mm-hmm.
The lore used to be that anyone could be a Jedi.
Okay.
The prequels made it sound like you had to be bred into it, that you had to be. So with this, with making Charles Wallace adopted, it means that anybody could have those gifts in the
Exactly. So, and maybe it was connecting him and Calvin, the friend that went on this adventure with them to look for the dad, because Calvin had these special powers. But in the book, Charles Wallace he had more powers than anybody, and he was smarter and could do all of these things. And Meg was there and could, but was not as well versed as Charles Wallace. So with him being adopted, it was kind of this parallel universe of, okay, so anybody can have this knowledge that they can get to the Tesseract.
Well, okay, you brought up Calvin. I felt like he was, I know he's part of the book, obviously, but I felt like he was thrown in there and didn't really, at least the way they made the film, have a true purpose, because they kept kind of having he and Meg have these moments where you thought they were going to have a little romantic tendency. And I like it when you can have a guy and a girl not, of course, be the couple.
Right.
That's a great dynamic to throw into the show that doesn't have to happen all the time. But they kept kind of leading you there and then bringing it back.
There's so many. This is not really a review, I guess, of the movie. We're just talking about things that were different. Yeah. But the issues that I had was none of the story was very well plotted out, I guess I should say.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden Calvin just appears and is like, I just felt like I needed to be here.
I was like,
why? We didn't know that he went to school with Meg. We didn't know where he came from. He was just like, I just felt like I needed to be here. So that was really strange.
When he said that line, I was like, wow, that just feels like the biggest cop out, like that we're just going to bring you into the story because you're part of the book.
It was very strange. And in the book, that's not how it works out.
Right.
In the book, there's a bigger interaction. The other thing was so the whole plot of the story is Meg's dad has been missing for 4 years. And I guess at school, they're telling her, he's dead. He ran away. He's never coming back, blah, blah, blah. And Meg just knows. There's something inside of her that knows, no, he's alive. I've got to find him. So Charles Wallace brings in Mrs. Whatsit, who is Reese Witherspoon, who surprisingly did a really good job with that.
She's probably my favorite part about this whole thing.
She was my favorite part of the whole movie. In my mind, when I was reading the book or listening to the book, I expected Mrs. Whatsit to be an old lady. Like mid-70s, larger woman who steals sheets. And that was missing from the story as well. So Mrs. Whatsit came and stole all of their sheets. And so that's how Charles Wallace got to know her, because he found her stealing sheets. And
now I'm starting to...
She was a thief.
Knowing some of these things that you're saying now about the book, I'm starting to piece together why... This is what I said to you. I felt like there's a ton of stuff missing.
We missed a lot. The movie, my opinion only... The movie was not well put together. It was pieced, and you just missed so much. And even me, who had read the book, because they changed so much of it, I was like, wait a minute, why did this just happen? I couldn't figure a lot of it out. So anyway, Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Witch, they all together are helping Charles Wallace, Meg, and Calvin get to Meg's dad.
Right.
So, but it just was very... like I said, peace-like.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, they're in the backyard, and the three women appear, and they're like, oh, okay, let's go find your dad. And the time just like...
How's it go again? Is that what we're going to do?
But in the book, there's this whole like mathematical equation that she has to figure out.
They showed it on the board in Miss Murray's house, Dr. Murray's house.
Quickly.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be this whole thing of... Because even in the book, like when Meg was younger, she and her dad did all of these like physics equations and all of this math. And here it was just like, Meg's just a normal kid. And then, oh, well, now she can just fly through space. Like, what?
Here's my thought on this movie. First of all, I forget the lady's last name who wrote this script, but her first name's Jennifer. I know that because she is the writer of Frozen.
Okay.
We've seen what she's done with Frozen. She's also been involved in a lot of other projects with Disney, so we know that she has that pedigree. She's a great writer.
Fantastic.
So I don't fault her because I feel like she probably presented a story based off the book, and this felt like a lot of extra cuts that were made after she did it.
Could be. This felt very dramatized, I guess.
Yes. There was not enough funny here.
Correct. But the book's not funny. The book it's scary.
It is. And I will say that this was it a PG movie? It was a PG movie. So I guess they give you the PG because there are some slightly, especially for a younger audience, some
scary,
intense moments, the deep voice of the it when you're actually there on Camazotz. Is that how you say it? Like Camazotz?
Camazotz.
Yes. Camazotz, his
that's hard to
evil
say.
Planet this is such, I felt like there was so much deepness, so much levels of the universe and all this that I think they missed an opportunity to expand this to a series.
And it is. It's a book series. There's 5 books, and I've only read the first one. I've got the other 2.
So did they leave
3
it?
Of 5, but
did they leave this one off where they could go to the next one, or did they put them all together?
True. No. This was the same as the ending of the first book.
Okay.
Because I didn't know that this book was a series, and because it ends so well. They find the dad, he comes home, boom, it's over. Well, we've already.
I know. I was just saying.
So I just assumed it was done, and then my mom told me, "Oh, hey, there's a whole nother 4 books." I was like, "Oh, geez."
Well,
here's the other thing that I had a problem with. The movie was
I like
it was
you being
enjoyable.
able to talk much about this.
I don't want to like bash the movie. It was enjoyable. I did not hate the movie. I just looking back on it, there are so many plot points that I have trouble with. The it is the bad guy, and you don't figure that out till 30 minutes till the end of the movie.
It's a long time.
Yeah, so you've watched an hour and a half of this movie, and then all of a sudden there's this bad guy, and you realize, oh, the bad guy has taken the dad. But then the dad is just in this little crawl space randomly, and then comes out, and you're like, well, that's odd. Because if he could have done that before,
Yeah.
it just seemed very convenient that Meg could pull him out and he was like set free basically. And it was just a little battle and then he got out and got free. Whereas in the book, it was much more dramatic and scary and you didn't know that he was going to get out. Like with this movie, I felt like the minute Meg found him, I was like, oh, he's safe. I think overall, my biggest thought of the movie is I just came out wanting more.
Yeah.
More description, more... I just had a whole lot of questions coming out of it.
Yeah, because when you see this trailers that were pitched for it, and to be honest, when I saw this on the slate of Disney movies we're going to watch this year, I wasn't excited for it. But as I saw the trailers, like, okay, you know, this could be interesting. This could be fun. It feels like something they could really build upon. But then it's like they gave you everything that they wanted to give you, and then just like, okay, but we're going to skip past all this stuff over here.
Yep.
But
that's exactly it. The trailer was the best part of the movie.
Well, I will say this, though. I don't like going to 3D movies, but I feel like I would have even enjoyed this a lot more in 3D because of the visual spectacle of it, especially when they come to that first planet there with the grass and everything and, you know, the flowers kind of floating down, especially even in the final battle scene. I felt like that would have played very well in 3D. So that's definitely something in the comment section. If you have seen it in 3D, we'd love to hear your impressions of it. Was it too much, too little?
No, I agree with that.
And I will say this. As much as I had problems with the plot, I thought a lot of the characters were really good in this. So a lot of the actors were great. I felt like Oprah was supposed to have a little bit more to do.
Oprah's character, Mrs. Who.
Yeah.
This is what my mom came to see it with us. And in the book, Mrs. Who is this old, like super old. And she talks like this.
They probably took that
like,
out.
Drawn out, but it's like musical, but it almost sounds like the wind. Like that's what she was supposed to be. And she wasn't that. Now she was a motherly figure.
Yeah.
But they're just missing so much. And I'm just so heartbroken over it.
Yeah.
That's not to say that Oprah was a good actress. Yeah. But
I mean, the actors did a great job with what they were given. I thought the main characters, Calvin, Meg, and
Charles Wallace. Such a hard name.
I enjoyed every one of their characters. Obviously, Meg was a little melodramatic for my taste, but I get that's what her character's supposed to be, so I'm fine with it.
She's an angsty teenage girl.
But the characters that stuck out to me were Reese Witherspoon's Mrs. Whatsit, and then Charles Wallace, because he was hilarious as the little boy genius that didn't fit in that well, but he was just. He was funny because he didn't know he was being funny.
You're right.
So I really enjoyed that. So as much as we probably were disappointed in some areas, there were some really good qualities as well for this movie.
So let's talk overall ratings.
What are we going to have a rating system? Because I'm having trouble thinking of something.
I mean, I think we have to go with the Tesseract.
But there wasn't an object though. It was just like this out there.
It's a thing.
Like
okay.
This,
what about sheets?
Sheets. Let's go with
Tesseract.
We're going with Tesseract.
Okay. Go ahead. You go first.
You gonna be mad at me?
Okay, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give it 2.
I'm gonna give it a 1 Tesseract. I mean, I try to judge my movies off of would I go see it again in theaters. To be honest, I wouldn't. And again, that has nothing to do with the effort and the
acting. The acting is fantastic.
And anything. And I know that they did their very best, but I just felt like they were limited in some areas, and that if they had spread this out across 2 movies, even though it's the first book, I think they could have gone into more detail, taken things a little bit slower.
I think if they had cut out that whole angsty drama with that girl, that wasn't even, I don't even remember that being in the book. That's not to say it wasn't. That didn't mean anything to the plot.
Yeah.
We didn't need 30 minutes of she doesn't like going to school. So the only reason I gave it a 2, not a 1, is because I did like the book. Didn't love it, but I liked the book. So I've been excited about this for about a year.
Yeah.
And I really liked the actresses that were in it. And actors and actresses. Zach Galifianakis was in it.
Yeah, we forgot about him.
Chris Pine. I mean,
the happy medium.
There were all these big people. Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, all these big people. And I was just really disappointed. So y'all let us know what you thought. If some of you loved it, please let us know what we're missing so that maybe we can think about it a little more because we want to love it.
Yeah. And in the comments section too, we'd love to hear from you guys on that. And like I said, we're going to probably obviously watch this again when it comes out on video, and maybe we'll rewatch it then and say, okay, now that we've had a chance to sit on this, understand what's going to be confusing, maybe it'll sit better with us then. So this is like history here. First time we've given anything below a 3.
Low rating. Yeah.
So unfortunately, that is going to be our ratings for this. We want to know from you guys what you think as well in the comments section below. What else should they do?
Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Until next time, that's all we have tonight. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Jessica, will you be a warrior?
What?
It's from the movie.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
What are you talking about?